Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Okay, so so for for today, we got something really special. We got me trying for the first time to do a semi-planned stream. I even have myself a little plan of what to talk about. So yeah, welcome. Here I want to tell my experiences as a small, tiny artist who never had any luck with social media growth. As somebody who got somewhat stable at getting commissions, I will say it is, when I say stable, I do not mean super duper huge. Nope. It still pays less than your average part time job, but like we are growing slowly, steadily, and happily. I'm super highly enjoying what I'm doing. I find that a lot of large artists that give you any advices for taking commissions do that quite vaguely. Or their advices are kind of hard to implement as a small artist. So yeah, and when I say small creators, I mean, for example, I'm a small creator. I am on my biggest platform, which is Instagram. I am around 1K followers. And even those followers, I would realistically say that it's more like maybe 500. Because at some point I had this huge reel that got 80K views, that got me about like 300, 400 followers out of nowhere. But those were that. And it's gonna be a part of the discussion today on why severed that and what's going to happen. Welcome, welcome, everybody that's sending little hearts and celebrations. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. Um, I basically want to tell all the things I believe being best practices for somebody to start with or to get somewhat stable amount of sales and get it together. Um, and let's get um let's get our little thingies started, our little drawings started, because yes, today we're also doing doodles. We will be doing doodle requests after these Telegram requests that I've gotten. I have 3 Telegram requests for little sketches while I talk. I so hope that they're not gonna be destructive for my talking. And if we don't go through them all, please do not worry those who submitted your characters. I will be finishing them off stream if we do not go through all of them. My priority for today is to tell the story, tell the advices, and then draw your beautiful little characters, which I super love, and I'm so excited for the first one, which is this beautiful, incredible little dragon creature. I believe it's a dragon creature, maybe like a dragon fox creature. Either way, super beautiful, super exciting. I am adorable. I have maybe made a mistake of not preparing myself any poses to get to be drawing this. Um, Let me actually fix it right now before we get into any serious talk. I will just super quickly get myself a random pose generator. um, I don't know. Poses to draw. Google. Google. It's gonna be it's gonna be something really stupid really quick, just so that I have at least a little bit of an idea of what I can draw, while also not get in the way. Okay, cool. I do have it on my screen. I do have it on my screen. So, a little rundown of today. First of all, I wanna discuss where to take comms, what sites, what do you do it on some platform, do you do it off some platform and just in the chats? Perhaps you just take several platforms, what if? Second of all, what services, what kinds of services, what kinds of commissions to give, and how to get your commission price sheet together if you want it. Because personally, I don't think that you need a commission price sheet if you work in this platform. If you're working with a platform, um, then how to price them, how to talk and communicate with your customer. I've seen so many screenshots of people getting in trouble with their dear customers because of the communication issues. And this is something I do not want anybody to experience. This is something I never want to experience myself. Um, and I know it might be annoying, especially in like North American context. The whole customer service culture is kind of not funny. But you know, you're still working in the customer service when you're taking commissions. It's unfortunate or fortunate truth that's going on, and you cannot just do some things. You cannot just say some things. You need to be kind of you need to be strategic about what you say and how you say things. Then how to deal with some technical things. I'm mainly talking about money, your terms of service, um, perhaps a little bit of taxes. I do not personally know a lot of stuff about taxes, so I'm not going to be talking about that too much, but just like at least what I'm doing. I'm here to share what my experience is. So yeah. And then how to advertise and actually reach people, how to research. Research. That's what a lot of people are skipping. How to research and target your audience. What does it actually fucking mean? I I'm still figuring that out personally. But it's getting slow. It's getting slowly to me. How to turn services into content. Because we live in social media. We need social media to grow kind of most of the time. How do you actually turn it into content that you can promote with? Promote for free with. Um and how to deal with feelings. Because that is something also quite important. How to deal with the feelings that you're dealing with while you're taking commissions. Yeah, that's kind of the rundown of today. I super hope that it's not gonna get into 3 hours. I'm kind of hoping for maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hour stream. Most likely with a little break because it is a lot of talking. It is a lot more talking than my typical stream. Even like the drawing streams when I am much more talkative. It's still it's still kind of hard, I'm not gonna lie. And so, let's begin. Where do you take commissions? What are your options? Not to be fake, you got quite a bit of options. You got the most simplest thing ever of just opening an account on, let's say, Instagram, of opening a PayPal account, or taking e-transfers if you're in Canada or in other countries that supports bank-to-bank easy transactions. Um, and that's what you can do. You can just start from those little chatting options. I did that. I feel I feel like they're not very reliable. They're not very safe. They're nice because you do not get any fees on top of what your bank or service might take. But, you know, you don't get any support as a creator. Most of the digital payment providers tend to think that a digital service seller is one of the most risky options. And if you're a fur creator, and I know that people watching the stream, people potentially in the future watching the reels I make from the stream, they they're most likely furries. The issue is a lot of the payment providers think of us as 18 plus, no matter what we do, no matter if we have our characters closed, no matter if we don't have our characters closed, no matter the context. Most of the time, I would probably feel like that even something like Disney's Zootopia might get flagged, even if it's Disney. It's an unfortunate truth that we have to deal with, and that is why I do not super recommend such approaches. I do not recommend talking to your client on social media that, first of all, allow some kind of chat manipulation, like deleting the messages, like editing the messages, like deleting the whole chats. It's just risky, guys. It's just risky. I don't know. Um, then you can start doing ko-fi or artistry, which both of those are honestly quite great options. I really enjoyed working with ko-fi, and I feel like they should be compared to each other. They should be compared to each other in some ways because ko-fi is great. It doesn't take a lot of money from you. I feel like it's a little rigid, but honestly, it is great. You can do stuff from their boss as an adoptable seller, and they have a chat feature, which is super important, at least to me, in my opinion. The whole Patreon-like system, like, yeah, why not? It's super great. Hello, hello. Yep, the stream is on. Um, yeah. Moving on to artistry, I also love artistry. I haven't worked with it personally. But artistry, it has one interesting thing. It has one interesting thing where you uh ah, sorry. It has one interesting thing that you as an artist get 100% of your earnings minus whatever PayPal takes. Um, but anything that artistry needs for their survival, any compensation for that, those like 5% or something, it falls onto the client. So the client practically pays taxes similarly to how they would in a grocery shop in North America. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes some clients, some artists, I personally, as an artist and as a client, I probably would think twice before getting such commission, and it is a problem. The fact that I would have to think twice about getting a commission is a problem. Because, unfortunately, we live in this kind of like attention attention market where you just gotta like if you don't get to snap somebody out of their internet consumption, out of their feed consumption, and go to your services and get it right now, 90% they will not come back. They will not come back even if you DM them, hey, are you still interested? It's unfortunate, but that's what's happening quite a lot. Um, yeah. So artistry and coffee, they're great both. But something that goes higher than that, something that I'm personally obsessed with, vegan. Vegan. Hear me out. Hear me out on vegan, please. I know it's annoying to small artists that they need to prove themselves to vegan to get on there. The thing is, it's not hard to get onto vegan. I promise you, it's not hard to get onto vegan. Um, there are several methods that you can do. I generally recommend opening a Instagram account or reviving your Instagram account. Posting, not even posting, scheduling. Instagram lets you schedule posts about a month ahead. So you can schedule a new artwork to be released every week or so. You can then put it into some other things. You can put it into a reel, you can put it into stories, you can give a little bit more of engagement to Instagram to show that your Instagram is active. And then you apply to their weekly raffles. Um, and there is a super high chance that you get through that. Please do not be afraid or think that you lost if you do not get a ping from the Instagram about it. Check your email. Whenever they announce the winners, check the email. That's the most important thing because I know that like even one of the people who are listening to this stream right now, I was ready to give her one of my codes, but then we found out that oh my goodness, she got it. She got through. And now I had an opportunity to give my code to a different person who I was also rooting for. So yes, please check your goddamn emails before jumping to conclusions. Emails are great. um, that's like the easiest way, in my opinion, to get to Vision. If not, you can always make an artwork for their monthly art contest, where about 200, I believe, artists every month get chosen to join Vision. Join Vision, I believe. I believe. Um, and then there is like a bunch of other options, but they're less reliable for us as small creators. Remind us that a small creator is creator, and at least in my talk right now, is created around or below 100K. But 1K, 1K, 1,000. And it's probably something like, I'd say 300 to 1K. Like this is what we talk about of active active followers with, if you talk in Instagram terms, I'd say maybe like about 20 to 50 likes stably on posts and maybe like 30 to 70 views on stories. This is what's kind of what we're aiming for. This is what we're aiming for in terms of the discussion of how to start taking commissions and not flop, not completely flop. Because like if you start taking commissions and you're like at 10 followers, two of them are your family, two of them are your friends, and one of them is a bot. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? We're not talking about. I'm sorry, guys. We need some growth. We need some growth before we start monetizing it. But anyways, Vision, why is it good? It's secure in a sense that there is chat, you cannot delete, you cannot audit, you honestly cannot even reply, but that's kind of sad. But like, how much do you need to reply? It gives you like the whole safety Etsy store thingy with like, how many stars do you have? What kind of reviews do you get? What reviews does your client have? That's also kind of important because if you get a client that has like 3 stars and there's like a bunch of really weird reviews from other artists on them, maybe it's not the best call to accept this client. Maybe it's not the best call to accept this client, or maybe it's a better call to inquire the artist that worked with them. You just generally be careful, be aware of what's going on. Yeah, so in my opinion, the worst you can do is go on social media chats and take commissions one by one. It's the absolute worst that you can do, in my opinion. Because it's not secure, because chats can be deleted, because you do not have any easy ways to say, oh yes, my client agreed to my TOS that said that I do not do refunds after I've done my work. It's not secure. I know it's a very popular option, I know it's a very easy option, but be super careful. Be super careful about it. Kind of the middle of the road, Ko-Fi and Artistry. Ko-Fi, I really, really, really like Ko-Fi. I really like Ko-Fi. If it wasn't so rigid, if it wasn't so you can only set one price and then set specific amount of add-ons and you cannot edit the price later. If it wasn't like that, it'd probably be on the par with Vision, because Ko-Fi actually also has the chatting feature that's quite good. And Ko-Fi works as Patreon, which Vision doesn't have yet. And I don't know if it will, but I'm really hoping for it. And a lot of people are hoping for it, so maybe. Artistry, I haven't personally used it, but also seems like a great option. That's where you take your commissions. There's a secret option of taking them through email, which is, I feel like, between the first and the second. It's a little, it feels a little weird as a small creator. Maybe as big creator, yes, that's something you can think of, but a small, I'm not sure if I as a client would want to communicate with my artist through literal emails. It feels very corporate. It feels very 100K plus, you know. But yeah, that's kind of what we got started with. Continuing on, what services do we give? I have so many opinions. I have so many opinions. This is like the biggest outlined in my little plan, because it is very important to know and to see what services do you give and what services do you want to give. And here I will have an example. Let's look at my first commission sheets that I did not get any sales from. Any sales from. This is from 2024. 2024 winter, early spring, I want to say. Um, how does it look? Not good. Not good. Why does it not look good? It has a million fucking options. Okay, it doesn't have a million options, but it feels like it has a million options. That's the problem. The problem with a million options of what you can get, and when I say that, I mean like, hey, you can get a sketch of the head, or you can get a liner plus semi-render of the half body, or you can get a black and white sketch of a full body, or you can get a rendered background and sketch character, or you can get or. No, not all. You do not do that. I'm sorry. I know that people love doing that. I know that people want to give as many options as they can to their clients. But let me like okay, let me just play out as a client. Let me play test. This is commission sheet. What do I see first? At first I see that okay, there's a sketch. There's a liner plus semi-render, which I can barely read because it's my handwriting. What is the difference between them? Wow, the difference isn't very big actually. Like, okay, maybe the lines are a little clearer, but like maybe there's like some more like work here. But how much does it like actually matter between these two? If I if I do like this, I do not see a difference. I do not see a difference. Um, and then like, okay, I want to get a commission. I want to get a commission of my beloved character, of my beloved Babirusa pig, the ones that you see right now. So what do I want to get? What do I want to get? I'm thinking a lot. Do I want to get a half body sketch for 10, or do I want to get a semi-render, the fuck does it actually mean? Semi-render headshot for 15, or maybe I want to get a full body sketch for 15, or maybe I want to get, I want to get a full body sketch plus a background for 20, or, or oh, the next post looks very interesting. I will surely come back to this. Oh, the next post is so interesting, so interesting. He, like, like, ain't working, ain't working. I'm sorry, ain't working. That's a problem. The more choice you give to your clients, the more choice you give to the clients, the more tension it turns into. Giving them more choice is good when you're big. When your clients come to you because they come to you and they will get whatever they can afford. It's typically whatever they can afford. When you're like big and you have expensive works and yeah. Um yeah. But now you don't get any commissions when you see this, unfortunately. The tension is not great. In the attention economics, in the attention market, the tension is not great. You do not give any attention. You want to ride between seeing your post and getting the money, not to be bumpy, because oh here like they decide, oh here they moved somewhere else, oh here they actually remembers that you existed again, oh here they finally made an opinion, oh here they started talking to you but you didn't respond immediately, so they need to remember to come back to the chat and they still need to commit. They haven't committed to it yet, they haven't done anything. And here you finally figure out what to do, and they finally approve your sketch and give you money. And that's where they committed, and that's where the road is typically pretty smooth. Unless you make mistakes in communication, which is a whole different topic. You want it to be, they see a post, they're like, interesting. I know what I want to get, because this is the only option. This is like the only of two options. Whee! Waiting a little bit for your response. Paying and then continuing. This flow is super important. It's super important. You do not want clients to think a lot, unfortunately. Clients who think a lot, they're great, but we live in a world where most of the clients don't want to think a lot. Um, yeah, that was a long spiel, I know, but it's super important. It's super important. It's I cannot stress how important it is to give less choice to improve. And it's gonna be easier on both you and the client. I promise you, you're not when you're given less choice, you do not give less value. You possibly give even more value when you have less choices because you can like if you just completely remove the sketch here and if you remove the half body, you can either do like a boost or you can do a full body. You can focus on those boosts and on those full bodies to be immaculate, to be the tastiest pieces of art your customers ever gotten, and they will want to return to you. That's what actually is the purpose of getting the commissions is to make a client base that is returning to you. That's what at least believe in. Again, it's all my opinion. It's all my experience. In a commission sheet, in the commission sheet, text will kill you. Unfortunately, text is not an option, especially hand text, hand drawn text. um, First of all, you see how crunchy this picture is? It happens. It happens that your picture sometimes will be crusty. It happens that somebody has a bad internet and they cannot read it. They cannot read what's going on here. Can you read it? Okay, you kind of can, but like, if you switch the stream right now to be on 720p, you cannot read it. Like, let's just read through this. Process, TOS, and will want to. You DM me, we discuss the work, I give you the price, and you accept my TOS. And then it's like, for style A. What is style A? I laugh when my English doesn't want to English. Okay. For style A. I draw the initial sketch, you pay, make one major, two minor corrections, I finish and send you. But the fuck? Genuinely. Huh? Huh? TOS. I can use artworks in my social media and portfolio. No commercial use. Credit, tag, slash, leave a link. Guys, guys, guys. No, no. And I will explain why no. Nobody will read it. It's as simple as that. Nobody will, like, okay, they might try to read it. It's not gonna be as pleasant. It's gonna create less tension. And we already know what happens when there is less tension, if there is more tension. We know what's gonna happen. They're not gonna get you money, unfortunately. Like, this is such a cute reference sheet. I still kinda like it, but it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Something something else that's kind of like a little less important, but still important in my opinion, is that ideally you want style B, at least here. You want the more expensive option, the first option that your clients see. This immediately gives like, oh, this artist gives such incredible work and they ask a lot of money for it, but it looks incredible. It must be like, it must be worth it. It must be worth it, guys. And then they're like, okay, but I cannot get it. It's not in my budget. What else can we do? What else can we do? What else can we do? We look at the style A. We look at the more cheaper option. That's something that you want to think about. In what order does your potential client see your work? How does it represent you? How? Um, Yeah, I just also feel like sketches, in most cases, devalue your artwork for clients and even the audience. I feel like that was happening sometimes. Hello, hello, who just joined? Um, I do feel like sketches devalue your artwork oftentimes. It's better to have, instead of a sketch, it's better to have like a bust as a separate work. And it's gonna be cheaper. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I do not offer boosts. I do not offer boosts in my typical commissions. I either offer a half body or a full body. Boosts is content for the times when I need to help my clients to learn about my process, to try me out, to support me when they cannot afford me, sort of thing. And ideally boosts, I want personally to leave them later as like a uh, Patreon rewards, but that's the general idea. Yeah, I like, okay, that's something that you can take with a grain of salt because I know that some people actually like sketches. It depends also on your style. Personally, sketches for me do not work as something that I want to sell. I want to give the best experience. I want to give the best value. I want to, and not value as like McDonald's value meals that are cheap and that are horrible, but they're kind of tasty. I want to give value in terms of artistic value. Artistic value, artistic time for their money. That's what I want to give. That's my priority. I want to give my expertise and my skill client. That is my priority over just making money. Because if I just start thinking about making money, then nobody will like me. Then I won't like myself. I have morals. Even in this world, we have morals. Yeah. Um, Something instead of the sketches or like super cheap things, you can just put open for negotiations, open for discussions. That's also something really interesting. That's also something that you can do. And then people who cannot afford your typical art, even your cheapest option of like, let's say your cheapest option is a hub body. If they cannot afford it, they just commit immediately. Instead of having this whole process of bum 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 bum, and they commit somewhere here, make them commit here, where they come to you, they say hello. Unfortunately, none of the options that you have in your price sheet work for me. Can we work something out, perhaps a sketchy boost? It's a lot harder for them to leave you when they've already DM'd you. You know this feeling where, like, on artisan markets, on like artist alleys, you come up to a person, you start looking through their art, through their stickers of your favorite character. You even pick some up to look at them closer. You start having a discussion with them, and then it's really hard to go away. It's really hard to just leave them be. That's something that's happening here. When they come up to you and talk to you first, they already kind of like half commit. And then you say that like, oh yeah, sure, I can do a simple boost for, I don't know, $10. Would it work for you? Yes, it will. Yay, let's pay. Great. We got ourselves a client. We got ourselves a client that has committed, that kind of likely to return to you, maybe when they have more money, and you have more experience. This is like for just the beginning stages, let's say, when you still like, how do I take commissions? I'm scared. Don't be scared. You won't explode, I promise. Yeah, it's like it's generally good to have like a tryout option. And so I've roasted this commission sheet, but let's look at my other commission sheets. Let's look at my other commission sheets that I had. This one, this one. This was made like a month, after the pink one. A month after the pink one. And there's literally like, I feel like this was like in April, March 2024, and this was something like May 2024. And this was the sheet that I got my first commissions from. Okay. You see how less everything there is? How the more expensive is focused? How the less expensive is kind of like, yeah, you can do that too. You see how little text there is? You can immediately understand what I'm doing. Yes, it's super fucking undervalued, but it got me through. It got me through some of my first experiences and months of taking commissions, and that has been great for me, genuinely. Later on, what I would do is just change the price to say 15 and 10, and then 20 and 15, and then 25 and 20. That's something what I've been doing. Um, I've been progressively raising prices. It's a good way to grow, I'd say, but it's not necessarily good for retaining, unfortunately, because at some point you will get out of price point of your clients, and this is something you have to be okay with. You have to be okay with an idea that your clients might not always be there. I had an amazing client from day one, uh, for whom I drew my very first commission and with whom I worked every month or so. He has been great. His ideas were cool. I was excited to work with him. He was always like super nice. But at some point last summer, he just stopped taking comms. That's completely fine. That's completely fine. That's just something that happens. That sometimes clients outgrow you, or you outgrow them. So yeah. And unfortunately, I find that with a lot of the audience that I even have, a lot of them as an audience that I am, which is really interesting, but also kind of detrimental. That audience are also like broke students or broke young adults, and they cannot get comms. They cannot take comms. Like they outpriced. They would love to, but they are outpriced, unfortunately. That's something that's happening sometimes. And it's gonna be a different discussion a little bit later. So that's what we got through. That was everything I could tell you about what kind of services to give and how to get your commission sheet together. Oh, let me actually show you my current commission sheet. It's not really, I don't really use a commission sheet anymore, to be honest. Just because I have Vision and kind of like works for me. Import from photo. This. This was what I had. I still feel like it's a little too much. It's a little too much. I would maybe remove like either these two guys, maybe this guy, and like okay, and everything else can stay because it shows different things. But still, the idea super simple. You can read it. Even if I get like this far away, I can somewhat understand it. Like super simple. And I also got like, a couple of comments from that. But like again, I don't really use commission shit anymore. I don't really do that stuff. Yeah, yeah. Let me just get a sip of water. I'm getting tired of talking. Hey, 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 hey. Hello, welcome back. I got some water. Okay, cool. Thank you, thank you. Okay, how to price? That's a different. This is such a large topic. Okay, how to price? I'm still figuring it out. I'm still figuring it out. I got some friends that have been soft bullying me to get my prices together, and I'm super thankful for them telling me that. How do you price? As a small artist, unfortunately, typical pricing ideas of like you take the hours and you multiply it by your minimum wage or your desired per hour wage. If that would have been true, then let's say we take the USA. We take the USA. We take $7 minimum wage, which is wild, but like okay. We take $7 minimum wage. We say that my cheapest artwork, which are right now my Polish sketch busts, which are right now $10. $10. They typically take me about 2 or 3 hours. Let's say 2.5 hours. How much do we get? We get 14. We get about 3. We get $17. Mm, that's rather interesting. Would people want to get? I'm like, okay, let's make it a prettier number. Let's say 20. Cool. Would people want to get a sketch boost for $20? Maybe. Maybe they would. They absolutely would if I was bigger, if I had more demand for my art. But because I do not have a lot of demand for my art, no, they wouldn't. They will go to somebody who has it for 10 and probably has it rendered because they're also small. Because they're also a tiny artist that needs to make money. Yeah, no. And if we start scaling it up, if we even say that like we want gasp $10 for an artwork that takes 5 hours, and 5 hours artwork, it can be like a half body rendered artwork. No background. No background. Just half body. $50 for half body. No background. I understand that it feels sort of okay. I understand that for an artist that's even like at 5K, it would be actually pretty okay and even maybe cheap to charge. But right now, no, it's not gonna be happening, guys. We're also in this whole recession core. It's not gonna be fucking happening, unfortunately. And when you start getting into actual livable wages, let's say like $20 an hour, x5, $100. The same half body, no background. $100 for a livable wage. Not happening. Unfortunately, a lot of times not happening. For small artists, death, death. So how do you charge? How do you price it? You price it by taking those, let's say, $50. You look at your art. You look at what other artists charge, other artists that get kind of stable commissions and they're in your follower and niche category. Follower and niche category. So they're also like about like maybe a little bigger than you. Let's say 2K. If you're 1K, they're 2K, and if you're doing Fury, they're also doing Fury or Fury adjacent. You look how much they charge. You look at how often they post commissions. And you kind of like you do research. You do research on how much people charge and how much it works for them. You ask people. You actually can just come up and ask an artist, "Hi, how do you determine your prices?" The main idea is that when you start feeling like you're working for free, you update your prices. That's something that's actually quite important. As soon as you start feeling like you're doing too much work for too little pay, you just go and Thanos snap your prices to go up. You just rework it because you're you're growing as a creator. It also means that your prices are gonna be growing. It's completely fine. You're not supposed to stay with the same uh $10 for a full body prices for a long time. It's just like the starting capital. Let's say it like that. Later you improve, you improve, and you get it to how much do I charge right now? I think I charge right now like $40 for full body. Do I? Do I? Let me actually check. I don't remember. I don't remember how much I charge. That's what happens when most of the time the calculations are done by Vijay. Okay, right now I charge half body 30, full body 40 for my typical commissions. Like, yeah, we grow. It gets eventually. It might be slow, but like you just gotta find the prices kind of that are okay for you. They're okay for you and both for your audience. Something that I told recently to one of the artists that I'm working with, is for auctions. Auctions, where you have the starting bid and you have the automatic bid. The starting bid is supposed to be the least you're ready to give this character away for. So let's say like $10. And the AB, the automatic bid, this is like an immediate buyout. Immediate buyout. You do not wait for the auction to end. You just say, I want to buy it right now. You do not risk anybody sniping you with a higher bid. You just say, I want to buy it out. For this price, you put what you want. Let's say I want 13, plus a little extra. This extra is specifically the bonus for the client not waiting for you. So let's say it's gonna be like $5, and so we get SB10, AB 35. And actually, auctions for commissions are also like super interesting, but they're for bigger artists, unfortunately. On smaller scale, I don't know, maybe like something like uh something like huges as auctions can work, but I'm not sure. Also, speaking about the platforms, do not use huge.com. Please, huge commissions, do not use huge.com. I also don't super recommend. Like both of these, no. I know it more appeals to like 18 plus footy artists. That's like okay, maybe use them. But personally, I feel like they're way too overpopulated and they want something super specific. And I could not get any luck with them. I could not get any. But yeah, some of the comms is also really interesting in terms of how to do price. I super highly recommend for any of the steps, any of the discussions that I bring up today, is to think of their persona. Persona is something I learned in my UX class. It's basically when you take your target audience. I hope everybody knows what is target audience. In case not, target audience is basically your ideal audience. So let's say my ideal audience as an artist, not as a commission taker, is young and older adults interested in furry anthropomorphic characters, D&D, um, that know how to use technology and that are of a progressive mindset. That is my target audience. Out of this target audience, we make an OC. So fucking sorry, please, you guys. We make an OC. We make an original character. And we say that, hi, let's call you Angel. Hi, Angel. 707. I don't know. Hi, Angel. Angel is a queer man in his 25 plus, but like not 30s yet. Um, um, he is creative in non-visual way. So like he, for example, makes music. Makes music. What does he do? He how much does he earn? That's kind of like, and how much of disposable income does he have? Like, let's say that he earns like 70K and he has disposable income for, I don't, I, how much 70K a month? Let's say, just for a funsies, he has like $100 of disposable income specifically for commissions. Comes. Out of this, we can start trying to see from his POV. And that would really help you to figure out how much you want to price, how much you want to price your commissions, but also how much you want, um, like where you want to post, how you want to advertise, how you want to communicate. Literally everything kind of can go from this idea of building a persona, which is really nice little thingy, and it just helps you to understand better what kind of audience you're hoping for and what kind of audience will come for you. Because if you target specific audience, it most likely they're gonna come to you. Why, for example, Minecraft. Minecraft's target audience are like children under 12. And that's how they advertise everything. That's how they make additional promotions. Like, have you seen the Uniqlo Minecraft thingy? There are no adult clothing. It is exclusively a children's line of clothing. They do not think of adults being too interested in Minecraft. So yeah, think of a persona. Think of a persona. And personas are going to be changing as you grow and as you understand your audience more. But personas are generally like really cool and easy way of improving your understanding of stuff of stuff. Yeah. Uh, and I think that's how we're gonna close ideas about how to price things. Let me get hydrated again. But guys, if you got any like questions or anything, please do feel free to ask. they might come like quite late. So just like just be patient because there's like a little bit of delay between stream and chat. So I see your messages like immediately, and you're gonna hear my response later on. Yeah. Okay, I'm ready to continue. I've applied my beautiful NYX Hunk City Minecraft movie collaboration thing, lead ball. Something next that I actually don't have a good list of what to say actually, which is unfortunate, is how do you communicate? Communication is key, and I do not mean it lightly. I do not mean it lightly. Communication is something that makes a one-time customer into a returning one, into a loyal customer. That's like the ultimate goal, is to get yourself some loyal as fuck customers that will love your artwork, will love your experience that you're giving them, and will love you. That's a general desire of the commissions most of the time. Especially for smaller artists that do not get like a lot of eyes on the art, that should be your priority. It should be a priority to turn one-time clients into 10, 5, I don't know, 20 times commissioners. What's going on? Hmm? Okay, cool. Anyways, um, but yeah, something in the communication that I see a lot of artists do is they talk to their clients as if they're friends. They they use a lot of slang. They use a lot of emojis. They generally like do not see it as a business transaction. And I feel like it might not be the best way. Because there's there's problems that might arise from that. And that's the kind of artist I often see getting into beef with their clients. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants to get beef with anybody, especially with their clients. So you gotta set boundaries, but I don't mean it by hi, here is my do not interact list. Please do not interact. If you're transphobic, if you're homophobic, if you support bad people, if you like, first of all, that shit doesn't work anyways. Second of all, I under boundaries, I more so mean just like the style you talk. You can control that. You might not control your client's speech or what your client sends to you, but you can control how you react to it, especially in chat. You do not have to reply within the same second. You can think. You're a human. You can think. um, yeah, and that's important that you think between your replies. That you think how to communicate the clearest way. Something that I like to do with my clients and that seems to work is to be stupidly transparent and clean. You know that song that recently went viral, like, you are glass, you're bitter or some shit. You're brittle, La 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 la. In your pain. Like this whole thing. You want to be glass. You want to be clear, transparent. You want to be the most like straightforward thing. Um, because we cannot assume that people understand you. We cannot assume that people understand you. And people do not know what you know. Something that like last year happened to me that I was super surprised to get. It's not commissions, it's essay writing. But I was writing an essay on miniature doll horses. And I used the work, and I used the wording like the horse's tech. I give the essay to a peer review. People don't know what does tech mean. And tech, in case you guys also don't know what does tech mean, it's like the saddle, the bridle, like any kind of wrappers, any kind of halters, the horse's ammunition. That is what does it mean to, like, what does tech mean? Or like, to tack up. Tack up. It's to put the ammunition on your horse, to prepare it for a ride. People didn't know that. And I was so confused. I was so confused. And the same thing will happen in commissions. So whenever you send an update, it's really important to be super clear. Whenever you communicate in general, it's super important to be incredibly clear. Like, something that I've been doing is that I literally have myself a little presets of what I'm gonna be saying. Let me read. Let me read one of those. Those are literal presets. Um, Somebody just sent me a request on Vision. Hello, thank you so much for choosing my services. I will send a very rough sketch as a part of proposal later today, EST time zone. And if everything is alright with it, feel free to pay and I'll continue the work. Let me know if you have any questions or require any assistance. It is the most clear thing ever. Nobody got questions what's going on. The client knows when it's gonna be done, how it's gonna be done, what to expect, what are their next moves, what are my next moves. And that they're welcome to ask any questions. Okay. Yeah. And then like I send out the proposal, and the proposal like is basically like an invoice, and I say, I see that you accepted the proposal. I'm glad that you like the sketch. If no changes are needed for it, you can expect the clean lines and flat colors done tomorrow. I will be updating you using chat. Super clean. Super, like, ABC. Like, we go from point A to point B to point C. They can ask any questions, they can get any help that they need, they can change anything. Super duper clean. The same thing goes for more complex scenarios. Whenever I whenever I need to give several options, whenever I say whenever I give several options, I say, let me actually find that. Whenever I give several options, it's also gonna be in the style of like, here is A, here is B, here is C. Please decide on what you got. A got this, B got that, C got those. Okay, here. Hello. Here's super rough sketches for the illustrations and options for dramatic lighting. The first one is the closest to the examples that you've sent. Second is more natural as she's just sitting there doing stuff on her own before noticing the viewer. And the third is probably the most dramatic in a very elaborate position with the sword facing the viewer directly. Like, you see the clarity. The clarity is there. Like, and something that I also find very important, and something that is my biggest pet peeve in getting commissions myself, is whenever I, as a client, go to an artist, I say, hey, I want you to draw my persona, my Babirusa pic. Here's his references, here's what I want, here's the money. Go. Work. And then the artist disappears. They didn't give me an estimate. They just say, okay, I will work. And then I oftentimes, most of the times that I've taken commissions, I myself had to be like the one after several days of like, hello, can you update me? Can you tell me what's the approximate time? What are the deadlines we're working with? Because the worst thing in the experience of a client that you can do is to leave them in the darkness. The darkness is worse than fraud. That's gonna be my hot take for today. The darkness is worse than fraud. I cannot stress enough how important it is. I cannot stress enough. Why does the darkness scare you than the fraud? Because first of all, most of the frauds begin with darkness. They begin with not knowing all of the details. They begin with not being transparent. That's how most of the frauds in our community begin, and how they end. That somebody just didn't give an update, and they didn't give an update, and they didn't give an update, uh, and they lied about giving an update, and they didn't give an update. Yeah, it's a pipeline of becoming a fraud in your client's eyes. And if you're a fraud in your client's eyes, or you're risky, that client is not going to be recommending you anywhere. Anyone. Even if you do the job. You will not get any recommendation letters. And even like as students, we all know how important the recommendation letters are. Yep. So yeah, please be super transparent. Literally say, is it like, hello, here's an update. Um, I hope you like it. If you don't, please let me know. They give you feedback. Um, and then you say, okay, thank you. Here's your feedback implemented. What do you think now? They give you a green light. And then you say, great, thank you so much. The next update you can expect around that time. And the next update is gonna be blah blah blah. Thank you. Good luck. That's kind of like the general spiel. That you just give as much clarity as you can. You are cool about it. You do not you like unless this client is like a super irregular client that you've been working for, let's say, more than 3 times, I do not recommend you starting sending them emojis or like heart reactions. Because the darkness is worse than fraud even for you as an artist. The darkness comes from uncertainty of an client in your uncertainty as an artist. If you begin like sending little hearts, I'm not saying that it's gonna happen. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen, but it's something that I've been looking through and seeing sometimes happening. The hearts, for example, being like overly friendly, overly perhaps even flirty with your client, It can give wrong ideas, and you can get manipulated. Or your client can start feeling like they're being manipulated. That's also not great. That's also not gonna give you any recommendation letters, guys. Please don't. Please don't do that. Please be politely business. Friendly business. That's the style that you wanna get through. But yeah. That's sort of the communication that I've got, I think. Like, generally, okay, if you're not working with a service like Vision where you can just say, like, hi, place your check marks next to what you want, and place your check mark that you're okay with being shared, with this article being shared. Also, be super transparent about that. You just gotta be transparent. You just gotta be like, imagine that you're explaining your services to a 5-year-old. That's what's gonna be happening. Just imagine. Of course, you're not gonna be giving services to a 5-year-old, but you know, we can always imagine. We're artists here. We have the imagining thingy inside our heads. So yeah, be careful, be transparent, don't give any false ideas, do not accept any false ideas. Then how how do we deal with like little tactical things? And that's when I can get joined because like it's just mostly gonna be like little up. Technical things like let's say money. Money. Question for the public. Do we keep our money in PayPal or Venmo or anywhere that is not our bank? No, we don't. We don't. We don't. We don't. We don't do that. Do not keep money anywhere that is not your bank. I am begging you. As soon as your money amount reached maybe uh like okay, the threshold can be put by you. Myself, I try not to keep more than $50. As soon as those $50 got reached, or even before that, I immediately transfer that out to my bank. It's important though that those money, those $50, let's say I got a commission, they paid me $50. Um, they seem currently happy about it. But I still want to leave those money for a couple of days until my next update, just in case something weird is gonna happen with the client. Just to make sure that I don't have to do any weird things, is that I have money to potentially refund them. Like, have this little stash of money that you can refund with. Do not, do not get in debt for refunding people, please. Actually, be like really careful with refunding people. It's honestly best not to do it through like an actual refund process, but just like through a PayPal thingy. Uh, because anything that has to do with refunds and with chargebacks, because you're a digital seller, PayPal does not trust you. Because you're a furry seller, PayPal thinks you're a weirdo. Combining these two, and the fact that like as digital sellers we do not have any packaging, we cannot just send a packaging and then say, yeah, hey, it got through. Like it was confirmed to be received. We do not give um refunds after it has been received. Please go away. Don't bother us. Um, like we don't have this as digital sellers, so we need to be extra careful, and that is also why I'm so adamant on advocating for um, chats that do not allow any editing or any deletion, or deletion of chat features. That is something incredibly important. Because what if, let's just imagine, your client who seemed happy about their work, but maybe they gave like a couple of red flags, couple of yellow flags, something like that. Um, they, after just a few weeks, decided to charge you back. What's gonna be happening is that they might fully on just decide to delete the chat, and you're not gonna win that. Most In most cases, you're not gonna be winning that at all. Even if you completed everything, even if the client said like, yes, I agree to your TOC, if there is no evidence of that, there's nothing. There is nothing. So please be really careful, and that's also why I prefer to use Vision, because everything stays there, undeleted. Even if I communicate with my client outside, Vision still has like all of the like client press the button to accept the TOS. TOS right there. Client press the button that it's okay to share the work. Client asked for specifically this huge and gave these references. Like, yeah, that's like part of the why I'm using Vision, because I have more protection. It's very important in choosing your services that you are working with to see how much protection as an artist you have, because sometimes you're just gonna be you're just gonna be on the receiving end of fraud, and that's sad. And no amount of client scanning or client um, blacklisting will help with it. It's just like something that happens. um what next? Oh, in terms of taxes, it's super relevant right now, but like, in terms of taxes, I do super highly recommend to have a Google or Excel sheet or something else where every time you receive the money, anytime you receive the money, you write it down to your sheet, and you just leave it there. I personally prefer to write it down with clients' names in case of any legal trouble, in case of anything. I do not really care how they're named. Just like what I see on paper, that's what I write. And then, if you use just the PayPal or any other services, please download the invoices. Because yes, you might not need them right now, but at some point in the future, there might be a moment where the tax people come to you and they say, wait a minute, can you give us a history of the past 7 years of money you received? And what are you doing in general? Please tell us. Please show us. Um, and then you go to PayPal, you try to search up for the past 7 years, you cannot. You cannot. So every year, I just recommend of like bulk downloading everything, all of the receipts, all of the things, including actually the receipts for any software, any books, any supplies, any printing expenses, anything like that, because that can be written down as tax refund when you actually get like kind of big, and you can get that. And like that's also like a plus for the tax people to see that like you've been like improving something, you've been doing something. Oh, you got yourself a laptop. For drawing, of course, of course. Even like I know that some freelancers are able to like um get parking, like their like office parking off, or just some other things. But like that's a whole other topic. That's a whole other topic, honestly. And I'm not the one to talk about it because I'm still I don't really know what I'm doing myself. Okay, something else is terms of service. Something that I was doing before I got to Vision is that in the beginning of every transaction, before I receive the money, I would, before I start to draw anything, it would typically go as my client comes to me, they say the idea, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna be doing that. Before we continue further, please go read through this document and reply in message to me that you have read and agreed to that. And I had a whole Google document with like proper TOS saying that like, hi, I'm Ohatko, hi, I'm doing this art. You are allowed to do ABC with my art, you're not allowed to do ABC with my art. This art can be posted, this art cannot be monetized. Um, the general deadlines are set. I receive money in this format. You can find TOS templates a lot. You can find them easily. Oh, and very important, my refund system is set and set. And then after they've agreed to that, I would create a new file. I would screenshot a part of the chat and the account of the person, and I would include that in. And when I would submit my final artwork, I usually submit my final artwork through Google Drive. So along with all of the files that are related to the final artwork, I would have their documents that would, at the beginning of it in bold, say that these terms of service has been read and agreed by this person on this social media, who are my client on that day, and these terms of service are frozen now for this artwork. And like a little description of the artwork. This is generally to like save myself. Generally. Genuinely save myself. Ah, that's how we get it. That's how we get it. Just like some little small things. Um, okay. We got one, two, three, four. Four more points to go through. Do I need a break? Do I need a break? I think I don't need a break. I can just drink water and then maybe after two more we go on a break. Cool. Okay. How do you advertise and actually reach people? In terms of advertisement, I mean specifically like how do you get more columns? Because we're talking about commissions here. How do I advertise? I advertise really weirdly, honestly. I since getting to VGen, it gotten a little easier because VGen, especially after I get my verification, it does some of the heavy lifting for me, which is rather interesting. For example, the artwork that I'm doing right now, not like right now, but like one of my current commissions that you can find in my queue is that is a client that found me through Vision. My other regular clients who have been working for the past half a year found me super weirdly. I don't even know how. But anyways, um, how do you advertise? You first of all gotta know where your audience is. Gotta know where your audience is laying. That's like quite important because if your audience are furries and you go and try to advertise, what is like the worst place to advertise for furries? Let's say thing, I don't know. What is social media that is for furries? Okay, go. Let's say your audience are furries, and you go and you advertise on anime art commissions page. First of all, you will get banned because that's off topic. Second of all, you're not gonna get furry commissions. You're gonna get anime commissions. That's like you've got to strategically think where the people that you want to attract are, and how do you reach them? How do you get to them? You get to their minds. Or like it's no longer possible because Amina is dead, but if, for example, I say that my target audience for getting commissions are older adults, let's say like 30 years old, playing D&D, going to Amino and advertising me art there is a bad idea. It's a horrible idea because most of the people there would be children, would be teens, would be young adults who grew up with Amino, like myself. But they would not be 30 plus. Okay, they might be, but that would be a whole different story, whole different kind of people, let's say like that. You really just gotta be thinking through where is the people that you need. But when I say so you gotta think about it, I do not mean that you gotta be scared and paralyzed. Because the less advertisement posts you post, the less people will find you. And that especially is visible on social media that are kind of older. For example, Toy House or Furfinity, where there is not much of like the feed. There is no algorithm made for you. There is just like a chronological or most popular. And there, the less you advertise, the less you get. But that's kind of the thing. Until you get big and people advertise for you. So, yeah, bro gotta advertise. That's unfortunate truth. But how do you do that? You do that by being annoying. It's okay to be annoying when you try to get money. I'm gonna be so for real, it is okay. It is something that we just gotta do sometimes, it's just what we gotta be sometimes. Be annoying. Go, hi guys! I got a reminder for my huge for the fifth time this week. Yes, I've posted a reminder 5 times a week, which is completely fine and normal because you're competing. Unfortunately for young artists, small artists, everything is competition. Because there is always somebody more popular than you are, and you might not have the privilege yet of having loyal base, which is sad and upsetting. But like, hello, you gotta do it. I'm sorry. Um, find out what is a minimum. What is the minimum time between posts that you can post in like Telegram advertisements groups? Typically, it's like about 6 hours, by the way. So Can you every 8, 6, 12 hours send your post to 20 different Telegram groups? And why we doing it several times? Because we want to cover several time zones and we want to cover several lifestyles. Like people who, even like the super simple example, people who work in the third shift, the shift that would go like at night, completely at night until the dawn. Uh, those people will be sleeping during the day. They will be sleeping during the day, and maybe they will see your post at 2 a.m. because that's where they get anywhere, get into their minds. I don't know. Like such a this is a super stupid example. Actually, it's maybe not the best one, but like you see the idea. You see the idea that you gotta advertise as much as you can because if there's no eyes on your art, there are no commissions. And that's something that I actually see quite a lot with my friends. They go, they create a new commission type, for example, a comic. Somebody creates a comic style, um, and at first they're like, "Hi, I want to sell you this comic style commission. It costs $100. $100." They might not have people who can afford it right now, and they forget to remind people about this style of commissions. And because they do not get these commissions, they do not post them. And people do not know about these commissions. They just don't. After like a week, they will not know about those commissions. So what does the artist have to do? The artists have to go with these people and say again, hi, I actually got these commissions. And between four of these already existing people who might start saving up for this $100 commission, there might be some new guy that has some money, loves the idea, wants it, and you get yourself a commission. You remind people. But what I've been seeing artists doing is that it's that they post the original thing, they post maybe like 2 reminders. They do not remind later. They get super tilted and upset and just like saddened, not motivated anymore to do anything with the art. They do not promote their commission. Nobody sees it. Nobody gets it. And then they're wondering, am I a bad artist? No, you're not a bad artist. You just need to show your art more. You need to be out there, yapping about your art, showing it in every corner, respectfully, and being annoying about your art. Like, why do those protest groups in, I think it was in Britain, the protest groups in Britain that put orange paint on everything. Do we know them? Do we remember them? Yes, of course we do. Hell, we do. Are they annoying? Of course they are. How much did they get money in the end? How much did they put attention to the cause? Probably more than they would if they weren't annoying. So be annoying. I'm so for real with you. Be fucking annoying. Be everywhere. I've seen recently a big creator, like more than 1 million followers, be like telling their little stories that their own audience, even if they watch like every single one of his stories, a portion of the audience does not know that he has a podcast. They do not know that he has a podcast, and they would message him, "Oh, wait, I didn't know that you had a podcast." Even though he would post about this podcast every couple of days, they would not know. Even if they watch those stories, they wouldn't realize. It's okay. It's okay that they didn't realize. They did in the end because he was annoying with it. And then they started watching it. Then they started watching it. Then they started getting commissions. Like, be out there. I know it sounds stupid. I know. I know it sounds like something what business bros would do. It is. But business bros sometimes have a point. Do we like it? Probably not. But is it real? Absolutely. Just be annoying. That's like okay, when I say be annoying, that's something that I need to separate. I just mean that you show your art a lot. You show your art, you show your passion, you are genuinely excited about your art, you are genuinely excited about the idea of taking commissions. If you're not excited about the idea of, hey, I would love to draw other people's ideas and turn them to reality. I would love to work with, for example, how I love to work with writers. I would love to work with writers, put their creative textual image, put their creative literary image to a visual form and give my input as a visual professional. I'm excited about it. I love to do that. It's something that keeps me going. It's something that keeps me doing all of these boring things, like um, like advertising myself, like getting my art into every hole I can. And I'm not doing that to my fullest potential, honestly. I still need to work on that. But yeah, genuinely, the months that I needed to get $100 for widget verification, I was super successful because I was so focused on getting that widget verification. I needed to go through the threshold of $100, and I did everything. I did it. My first month on Vision, I got my verification steps complete. I was just waiting until it got approved. I think I lost like only maybe like $7 because the timer ran out. But yeah, be annoying and tell everybody that you have it. If you have, for example, like okay, if you're doing stuff like this, stuff like this is also could be interesting to D&D people, to people who like to write. You go to those people, you throw your art in there, and you're happy. Because most likely, even if they're not gonna be the ones to take your art, they might recommend your art to their peers who might need your art. And then, yappy! We got ourselves a customer. And then, yappy! We got ourselves even more customers because of the whole community part of D&D. Like, genuinely, be annoying. Be happy about being annoying. Oh, right. But where? Okay, moving on to the next point. How do you how do you research where to be annoying? How do you research where to be annoying? Something that at least Vision mm, become an extrovert. I wouldn't say that you gotta become an extrovert. No. I would say because like there are many great business people who are introverts. But being an introvert does not mean that you're shy and you're inside of yourself all the fucking time. Being an introvert means that Just talking to people kind of takes your energy. Um, you don't need to be an extrovert. You just you can literally schedule all of your annoyances. You can schedule them. I know that there is like a program called like Postbird or something that I've seen it on Fur Affinity a couple of times. But you can just schedule it. And that schedule will do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, and then you can focus your energy on doing more personalized advertisement and then doing communication with your client. So, yeah, like introverts work in customer service, introverts work in sales. You're doing customer service and you're doing sales. Yeah, it is winnable. It is winnable. Absolutely. It is. Just be confident. Be confident in yourself. That's the biggest part. But yeah, how do you research? Where to be online? That's something also I don't see many artists understand early. And that's hard. And I'm still figuring it out. I'm gonna be so real. I'm gonna be so real. I'm still figuring that out. How to research? Super stupidly. You just go to your followers and you look through their accounts. You look in what kind of groups they are. You look at if it's like yeah what they repost. So you look at what they post. You don't do it like creepily, like don't stalk them, but just like give yourself like a couple of evenings. Let's say you have like 100 followers, 100 followers that are not your friends, family, or bots. Um, give yourself a couple of evenings and just scroll through their accounts and just look look what they need, look where they seek it, and fill that gap. Alternatively, if you're on a website such as VGen and on other websites where you get some kind of analytics, even if they're not personalized analytics but like site-wide analytics, you can look. Okay, VGen, for example, they often post top 10 searches of the week. I've seen the search for furry go from nowhere to be seen to number 10 to number 5 to last week it was number 2. Most searched on VGen. Furry. And then you work from there. Then you work from there. You just like, you don't pick websites where you post uh based on some hee hee haha. You pick your websites where you post based on where your audience lies. For example, Fur Affinity, website literally made for furries. Of course I will be there. Of course. But for example, why wouldn't I be on Kara? That whole website that was like super popular when like a lot of people left Twitter because Elon Musk took over and AI and all of that. I think it was like the first like blue checkmark epidemic. Um, I did not stick with Kara because Kara was a website made by artists for artists. That means there are no clients. There are no fucking clients there. Nobody will search your artwork on Kara and then commission you. Because clients, okay, because because artists, they want commissions. They do not want to be clients, they want to work for clients. And if you surround yourself with a community of artists that seek commissions, with a target audience of artists that seek commissions, you cannot take commissions. Nobody will be taking your commissions because nobody's looking to get commissions, to be on the receiving end of the commission. Everybody's looking to be a creator of the commission. You also, that thing that can also work, but you won't be doing commissions. You then can be selling brushes. You then can be selling bases for adoptables. You then can be selling guides. You then can be monetizing your work as an artist influencer that audience are other artists that are trying to get through the beginnings of it. Like, you see how like it turns the table a little? Personally, that's not what I wanna be. Even though right now I'm actually like am that thing. Like right now in this moment as I speak. Uh, because in theory I could just monetize this stream. You could chop it up in pieces, sell it as a guide, and be happy about it. But no, I'm not gonna be doing that. I'm not gonna be doing that. Maybe in the future. Maybe in the future. Okay. Like, it's gonna be fine. So yeah, please do some diligent research. Research on what other artists do. It includes artists below your follower group, around your follower group, a little above your follower group, and a lot above your follower group. Look through what they post, look through how they communicate, look through what kind of services they offer, for how much, for how long, how do they monetize their work. This will give you a lot of ideas. This will give you the ways where you need to grow. This will give you some free mentorship, basically. Instead of paying somebody to be your mentor, you're just doing a lot of the thinking that a mentor would think for yourself. You're doing the research for yourself. You're getting the knowledge. Because like, what kind of content does it post? Why does content with fan art get more likes, but it perhaps doesn't get as many, I don't know, as many comments as their OC work? What works, what doesn't work for different artists, what does work, what doesn't work for different clients? Yeah, there is a lot of options. Also, I think I should be wrapping up with this guy. And I don't think that we're gonna go through all three. I think we're gonna go through maybe like another one, and then I'm gonna be finishing the third one off screen. Okay, let me just put my beautiful textures before we move on to long nails close. Oh, sure. Oh yeah, I actually miss those. That's really cool. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna give myself like a little tiny yapping break just because I've been yapping for 2 hours and I need some. Yeah. Oh hey, it's okay. It's okay that you asked for longer nails. I just didn't notice them at first. I don't know if you're the owner. But yeah, there are some long nails and I didn't notice them. So I will absolutely give them. Nice. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna get quiet for a second. Hey, I'm glad. I'm glad that that's helpful. I'm gonna finish up with advices somewhat soon. I think I have like a couple more points to make, couple more things to discuss. But I really hope that I can finish like 2:30. That should be somewhat of a goal. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm hoping to make a little like a series of reels where I would cut up the stream and possibly turn it into a bunch of reels with like the most important points that I think are like getting updated in the scene, so that people don't have to like actually like go through this whole thing. Because yeah, I know I'm not much of a bot viewer. Okay, it's good. Looks good. Okay. Oh, my beautiful water. I'm so happy to have water. Okay. Yay. I think we can move on. I think we can move on. So the the next thing is it's a very small discussion, but how do you turn your services into content? How do you do less work for more output? That's that's a great question. That's an amazing question. And the way I wanna say is that you make content based on what you want to sell. There is a whole bunch of options for content to literally be check out my new huge check out my new huge, and here's a little process of how I made it. Or hey furries, what is the rarest species that you had, that you had seen? uh, like there's really a lot of options of how you can turn just an example of your mission into content and then bring more people. Some of my more favorite ways is literally just turning on the time lapse feature or doing some kind of a reveal reel, and that's already gonna be like maybe 3 to 5 reels on Instagram. I don't really like doing reels, to be honest. I don't really like video form. I suck at editing, but it's just something that I need to um, get over with and get better with. And that's honestly a little sad truth about like doing content. Is that sometimes content is a bunch of things that you really don't want to do, but man, you need to. You need to. Uh, yeah, that's a really small thingy, but yeah, it is important that you like how I said that like please be annoying. Please be annoying about your art. Please be annoying about what you post. Um about what you try to promote. Actually have a variety of that content. Like I have a variety of several, how to say it, of several real types, of several things of how you can get that content. And just be annoying. Like as I said several times at this point, be annoying with those reels. Okay. That's basically all I wanted to say with that. And the last point. Oh, cool, because. Okay. And the last point is how would you deal with different feelings? When having this journey of commissions, you get thrown at with a bunch of feelings that you don't necessarily know how to get through, especially if you haven't worked before. For example, commissions is the first time I ever make money for myself. I had never had a job. That's that's a little silly to say, but like I'm sort of a nepo baby. I never needed to work, and it always seemed weird for me that teenagers had jobs in other countries. And I was like raised in Ukraine, so no teenagers really had jobs. Some of my friends are taking commissions, but like that's aside from the point. How do you deal with feelings when, for example, you go through a certain threshold that you didn't even know about that you had? Of, for me, it was $100 a piece of art. At first, it was like two character plus background artwork, I think, and it got something like really close to $100. I think it was like 120 or uh, $90 if we made some adjustments, and I just felt really bad for charging that much a client. I didn't I didn't know that I would have this issue. I never anticipated it. Oh, let's turn him around actually. I never anticipated that I would feel bad for charging money. I always thought of myself as being like a little bit overly self-absorbed. But then this situation came by, and suddenly, I don't know, it just felt so weird that I would have to get in PayPal more than $100 in one single check. So, how did I overcome that? First of all, talking to people who actually have a job, talking to friends who actually have a job. Because, well, for me, getting paid $100 might feel weird. For them, it's normal. For them, it's like not a lot of money. I mean, like in a paycheck. And then hearing their kind of words of like, yes, ooh, you're not weird for getting that much money, I was able to kind of like get nice about it, get not so weird about it. Uh, yeah. Some other feelings that you would get as a small artist trying to get commissions is oftentimes, oh man, I must be so annoying and sudden, like such an idiot while trying to advertise my art. I already said it multiple times. It's normal. It's normal to be annoying. You just kind of gotta make peace with it, and the way I personally make peace with it is that I just like I talk to myself and say that like if I don't do this right now, I might not do what I love more. I might not get a customer with a cool character design that I would be excited to draw. That would be my payoff to for feeling bad for advertisements that I might not get to do the job I want to do. And it would suck even more. It would suck even more than just like, oh, I'm not gonna be advertising because it feels weird. No, you will. I will. Come on. Good luck. Go advertise. Go. uh, like, yeah. Some other feelings that I personally feel a lot is just like probably something that like most artists felt. The ones that at least seeked or hoped for some kind of career development in this freelance scene is when you don't grow. And I know this very well. I know this very well because I've never had any luck with social media. Any social media growth would take me twice as long as any of my friends had. And I would be jealous of it. I would be upset by it. I would be just straightforward, like, man, why? I don't seem to do anything different, but they just seem to find more success. And it doesn't matter. Okay, when we're talking about feelings, it doesn't matter what actually happened. It matters how we approach it. It matters how we approach it. And the ways that I would deal with such feelings, that I deal with such feelings, that I remember that my goal is not to grow fast. My goal is not the follower count. My goal is not the like count. My goal is loyalty, is attraction, and is the interest of my clients in me, in my art. And then this whole thing can circulate around. They can send my work to their friends. And those friends might get an artwork. Those friends might send them to other friends. None of them turn into a follower. Maybe a couple. But for the most part, follower count does not matter here. Social media growth does not matter here. A lot of full-time artists at studios, for example, they never had and never will have a big follower count on Instagram or Twitter or ArtStation or Telegram channel. Neither. Their work and their recommendation letters and their basically resume will speak for them so much more than any social media account could. And that's what I remind myself of. And I also remind myself of that, like, I do not seek fast gratification. I seek organic growth of high quality followers. Because followers and clients to some degree can be divided into high quality and low quality. I don't mean it in a derogatory way. Please don't misunderstand me. I do not mean it in a derogatory way. I do not mean it in a superior and inferior way. I mean it in the way that not all followers will be your fans. Not all clients will be your regulars that love your work endlessly. Not, but at the same time, some of your followers will be your fans. They will turn into clients. Those clients will love your work, and they will share it to the followers, to their friends who might either also love your work and your persona endlessly, or they might just enjoy it and be kind of okay there, kind of hanging there. I, for the most part, try to seek the second half. I try to seek the half that comes to me because I am me, and comes to me because I do good and I do what they want and I communicate about it. and I share about it, and I understand their needs and wants and preferences and niches, everything, everything. They know me, I know them, we work together. That's my ultimate goal. And this way, we can also grow alongside each other as generally people and creators. Create this sort of virtual village where, of course, we still have a business deal. We have like business relations, but at the same time, we come to each other with a sense of humanity and with a sense of appreciation for each other's time, work, money, expense, everything, interests. Build a virtual village with your clients and with your followers. That's like that's like a very big thing, and especially if you can make it somewhat local. More so about talking about clients. If you can make it somewhat local, later on, whenever you go and do like markets, for example, those clients, those followers, even they will come to your market. They might be some people around your area who might later give you even more opportunities in commercial design, for example, in making a design for a cat cafe. Like, you're already a furry. Of course, you know how to draw cute kitties. And so somebody might have a friend who's starting a cat cafe, and that friend is like, oh man, I need design for my stuff. You know, you know. So it's okay to not grow fast. The main thing should be that you grow well, not fast. Be well, feel good, be excited, and all of these things. Feelings, feelings are important. I'm not gonna lie. They're hard to deal with, but they're important in a variety of ways, and they can show you where you're going from. As part of the whole how to deal with the feelings, I'd say that it would also be important to see how do you feel during this work. For example, I feel a lot more happy working for writers than I do whenever I work for other visual artists. I love the idea of collaboration between somebody who knows their words and somebody who knows their shapes. Let's say it like that. And this kind of collaboration always brings out some of the most respectful, loyal, and incredible customers that I've had. Yeah, like I also love like clients who are visual artists, but it's like it's a different feeling whenever I work with them. It's like I kind of get to prove myself, which is silly, which is really silly, but that's something that's happening. Okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of all. Honestly, yeah. Today, today we did a great job. Today we did a great job. Aside from me not really working on the requests, and I'm gonna be finishing them up of chat. Today we did an incredible work of talking first of all of where to take your commissions, whether one you should take them one-on-one in chats or you should use some kind of service like Coffee or Artistry, Vision, then what kind of services to give and how do you build actually your commission sheet without it sucking us. Then how to price your artwork, how to feel okay with your prices, how not to overprice, how not to. Okay. You can undercharge, but like, please don't undercharge. Really, really, please get out of the undercharging phase really quickly. How to talk and communicate. This is so important. Please, please communicate really clearly with everybody, please. How to deal with money, DOS, taxes a little bit, and small things. How to advertise and actually reach people. How to research and target the audience. Nah, targeting your audience, I'm kind of also throwing the whole persona spiel. Um, how to turn services into content, and how to deal with feelings. Yeah, yeah. Please don't give up, because giving up means that first of all you're getting all of your progress to zero. Second of all, it just feels bad. Don't give up, please. I know it might feel hard. I know it might be stressful. I know it might be like overwhelming, but please do not give up. Unless you actually serious about like changing your career path. And by career path I even mean like part-time job. Like think a million times before you say, okay, that's it, I'm deleting all of my Instagram things, I'm deleting everything. By the way, why do people like to archive their art? In terms of like on the Instagram, why do they want to hide their art so much? And then they open commissions, and all I see is basically an empty account, and I'm like, bro, 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 what am I supposed to see? How am I supposed to get excited about it? Come on, come on. So yeah, don't give up. All of the hard times will eventually turn into good, incredible times. And all of the good, incredible times will eventually turn into quite hard times. But the previous hard times had already taught you how to deal with a bunch of them, with a bunch of options. And you will feel quite much better. So yeah, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you, Patat Queen, for coming. I'm so excited for your debut. I'm very glad that you and others found this helpful. And this is probably where we're gonna be ending. So thank you so so much for coming, for listening to for everything. And we will be seeing each other soon in a different stream, in a different format, in a different service. I don't know. Okay. Bye bye.